Hello Year 11 and welcome to your lesson for today. It's the 14th of January and the title today is Factorising. So if you can pop the date and title into your books please. So factorising is the opposite of expanding the bracket. So if I ask you to expand this bracket here, you would take the term that's outside the bracket, 4, and multiply it by the term inside the bracket. So we'd have 4 times x, which would be 4x, and then we'd take the term outside the bracket and multiply it by the other term in the bracket. So we'd have 4 times 2, so it would be plus 8. So that's expanding the bracket. And factorising is when we are given this expression here and we have to put it back into a bracket. So our first example is on the screen now, where we've got 15x plus 20. And we want to factorise this expression here, which means we want to put some brackets back in. So we need to have a number that's outside the bracket, and then we will have our bracket. And the word factorising involves the word factor. So we're looking for factors of 15 and 20. Now we know that 5 divides into 15 and it divides into 20. So we're going to take 5 out of the bracket because it's a common factor of both of these terms here. And then we need to put in the bracket what we would multiply by 5 to get this 15x. And we're going to find that out by dividing 15x by 5. So when I divide 15x by 5, I'm going to get 3x. When I divide 20 by the 5, I'm going to get 4. Now we can check our answer by expanding that bracket that we've created here, and hopefully we'll get back to this expression here. So 5 multiplied by 3x is going to give me 15x, and 5 multiplied by the 20 is going to give me, by the 4, sorry, is going to give me plus 20. So I've got 15x plus 20. That's what I started with over here, so I know that that factorising is correct. Now I've got a second example on here now, which is 4x plus 12. So again, I need to look for common factors of 4 and 12 to put outside the bracket and then think about what's going to go inside the bracket. So you might look at 4 and 12 and think, well, 2 is a factor for both of those, which it is because 4 divided by 2 is 2 and 12 divided by 2 is 6. But it's not the highest common factor. We want to take the biggest number out of the bracket if we possibly can. So another factor of 4 and 12, so a number that divides into both 4 and 12, is 4 itself, because 4 divided by 4 is 1 and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So in this example, I can take 4 out of the bracket. So to find out what's going into the bracket, I need to divide this term by 4. So 4x divided by 4, it just leaves me with x. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So now I've got 4 and then open bracket x plus 3. Again, I can check that this is correct by expanding the bracket and hopefully getting back to this expression here. So 4 times x is going to give me 4x, and 4 multiplied by 3 is going to give me 12. These two match, so I know that that factorisation is correct as well. Okay, we're going to have a look at a third example in these type of factorisations. So my third example is 8x plus 16. Again, we're looking for factors of both 8 and 16 to remove from the bracket. Now again, 2 is a common factor of both, 4 is a common factor of both, but it's 8 that is the highest common factor of both of these. Okay, so I'm going to take 8 out of the bracket. 8x divided by 8 just leaves me with x, and 16 divided by 8 leaves me with 2. And close my bracket. Again, I'll just do that double check to make sure. 8 times x gives me 8x, 8 times 2 gives me 16. This matches what I started with, so I know I'm correct. So if you want to pause the video now to make sure that you've copied down these 3 examples, and then we'll move on to a couple more examples that are just slightly different. So in our first 3 examples, we just had one letter in one of the terms. Okay. In these next few examples, we're going to have an unknown letter, so in this example it's x, in both of these terms here. So when we're considering the factors of both of these terms, you'll see that we haven't got numbers in front of both of them, so we can't consider a number, but we have got the same letter in both of these terms. So that is actually going to be our common factor. Now we've got an x squared here and we've got a 5x here. So we know that there's an x in both of these terms that we could remove as a common factor out of the bracket. So then we need to think about exactly the same method as before. We're going to divide each of these terms by the x that we've got here. So x squared divided by x leaves us just with x, and then 5x divided by x leaves us just with 5. So let's see if this has worked. If we do x multiplied by x, that gives me x squared. And if I do x multiplied by 5, that gives me 5x. So we know that this matches here, and we've got that one correct. Now our next example is slightly different again, because it has numbers in front of both of the letters, it has letters in both of the terms, and we've got a subtraction symbol here. So we're going to use the same methods that we have done already. We're going to look at the numbers first. So we need to think of a common factor of 4 and 6. So the highest common factor of 4 and 6 is 2, because 2 divides into both of those. So I'm going to take that outside of the bracket. But I've also got another common factor for both of these terms. I've got an a in both of them. I've got an a squared here and an a here. So I'm also going to take an a out of the bracket as well. So I've considered the numbers first and then the letters. Then I'm going to open my bracket, okay, and I'm going to divide this term here by the 2a that is outside of the bracket. So the 4 divided by the 2 just leaves me with 2, and a squared divided by a just leaves me with a. Then I'm going to divide my next term by the 2a. So 6a divided by 2a means that I'm just going to be left with 3. And as I've got a subtraction symbol here, I'm going to pop a subtraction symbol there. Now, let's check if this works. 2a multiplied by 2a is going to give me 4a squared, because the 2 times the 2 gives me the 4, and the a times the a gives me a squared. Subtract, because I've got a subtract symbol here, and then 2a multiplied by that 3. So I've got 2a multiplied by 3, 2 times 3 is 6, so it's 6a. So 4a squared minus 6a, 4a squared minus 6a. I know that one's correct. Okay, we're going to look at another example with both numbers and letters in, just so you're clear on how to do this. So we've got 15x squared minus 20x. So I'm going to think about the numbers first. I need my highest common factor of 15 and 20. So I know that that's going to be 5, because 5 divides into 15 and 20. And then I need to look at the letters. I've got x squared and x, which means I can take an x out of the bracket as well. So I'm going to divide each of these terms here by the 5x that I've put outside the bracket. So 15x squared divided by 5x. Well, the 15 divided by the 5 leaves me with 3, and the x squared divided by the x leaves me with x. Again, I've got a subtraction symbol, so I'm going to carry that across to here. And then 20x divided by 5x. Now 20 divided by 5 is 4, and the x just divided by the x leaves me with 1. Okay, so it'd just be 4 times 1, so it's just going to be 4. Okay, so I've got 5x outside the bracket, multiplied by 3x minus 4 inside the bracket. We'll do that last check. 5x times 3x, well 5 times 3 is 15. X times x is x squared. Then I've got 5x times the minus 4, so we can pop the minus sign here. 5 times 4 is 20 multiplied by the x. Correct. Now the last example I'm going to show you is one where we've got no numbers in it at all. We've just got the letters. So we've got AC plus AF. And again, we follow the same method. We're looking for common factors of both of these terms. What can you see in both of them? Okay, so we can see an A in both of them. So A is what we're going to take out of the bracket. And then we need to divide this term by the A. So AC divided by A means we're just left with C. And AF divided by A means we're just left with the F. So you treat it in exactly the same way as you would do if there was numbers and letters, but you're just dealing with the letters in this occasion. Let's expand the bracket. A multiplied by C gives me AC. A multiplied by F gives me AF. These two match. I'm happy with that one. So you'll also find on Go for Schools the Factorising practice questions, which are on a Word document. So they're pictured here as well. So if you wanted to pause the video and just do them from the screen now, you absolutely can. Or if you want to print off the document that's on Go for Schools as a Word document, then you can do that as well. So there's 4 questions here. There's several for each question that you need to do. And if you want to pause the video and have a go at those. If you're on the Teams call for the lesson, then we'll review the answers to these during that Teams call. But if not, you can just take a photo of your work and send it to me, and then I'll mark it and give you some feedback on there. Once you've completed these practice questions, there's a PDF document also loaded up onto Go for Schools with some exam style questions in them too. So this is what the front of the PDF document looks like, and if I just scroll down, you'll see that there is some exam style questions there for you to complete. Again, you don't need to print this off, you can just complete these questions in your book, take a photo and email it to me or load it up onto Teams. So if you've got any questions on anything that we've covered today, then please email me or join the Teams call if you're watching this beforehand and can join and ask questions there. If you need any help, just give me a call. Thanks, bye.